thank Richie Thayer from Thayer's Marine for keeping me and Travis on the water. You know, when you're fishing on the Great Lakes, you're dealing with wind, waves, and opportunities for disaster. But when you buy a boat from Richie Thayer, you're on the water for every tournament, bud.
There you go. Okay. Yeah.
Travis, you fish. Oh, Travis doesn't need any help. Travis doesn't need any help. Travis.
So Katsu number 5. So we're doing a little burn and stop technique. Big time burn and stop, and they're hitting.
Yo, hey guys, welcome to Smallmouth Crush Live. I'm your host, Travis. Epic Eric will be hopefully joining us soon. He's down in the Outer Banks again, still on vacation. So I guess he has an extended vacation. He's fishing off the pier, trying to catch some amberjack or whatever the heck's going on down there. So it sounds like a lot of fun. Hopefully we can get him in the studio because we got a pretty cool show tonight. I'm really excited. Our friends, well, one friend from Great Lakes Finesse will be joining us, Dan, and he's going to be talking about some of the new baits that are available from Great Lakes Finesse. And so really excited about some of those baits. I got my hands on some of them in the last couple of weeks. We've been catching fish with them, and I've been super impressed with them. I think you guys are too. So definitely want to take advantage of the discount code we're going to be giving away as well. I'm just checking my chat, seeing who's all here. Darius, E-Stack, Ray. I've been fishing, guiding, well, more so guiding, basically guiding the way. Oh, JP wants an invite. Should we invite JP? His phone's always like sideways and crooked, and it's just a mess. But let me see if I can do that. Let's see if we can get JP in real quick. Get some of his enthusiasm on the show. There you go, Mark. Got delivery of some Great Lakes jigs today. Awesome. We're getting JP in. I saw him on the water today. I didn't recognize him at first. I'm out there. Well, I was heading to a spot very close to a place I took him when we won a tournament last September. And, well, I saw there was a boat over there. And I was like, well, who's fishing right there, you know? And as I get closer, I realized it was a Gray Ranger. And it was this guy.
What up?
You know what? When I saw you, I didn't think that was you because you were sitting down.
I saw you sitting down today too, bud.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. You got up around the tip of the island, and I seen the leaner out, and you sitting down, so I don't want to hear about it.
Were you in bed already?
Oh, I just got done. Dude, I'm cooked. I stayed out there till almost 6 o'clock.
Yeah. I had Yeah, I had some clients from Arkansas today that flew in, and we caught some fish. I think we made up for the struggle bus most of the day towards the end of the trip. I think at the end of the trip, we probably caught maybe 20, 25 fish in like an hour. So that was good.
Yeah, that's a nice little spot you found then.
Yeah, but there was a guy on shore fishing there as well.
Oh, you got him shallow.
And he was putting them on his stringer. He goes to me, do these fish still have eggs in them? I go, I think they're done spawning. He's like, man, I hate keeping these big ones for dinner, but that's all I'm catching here are big ones. How much did that one weigh? He asked me. I go, 5'2". He's like, man, that'd be a good one for the grill. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Well, at least he wasn't going to catch that one today.
No. So I got some bad news, JP. I just got off the phone with our clients for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
So they had a tornado hit their house. Everything's fine. I guess some chickens are loose and stuff, but other than that, they'll be okay. But they're having a hard time getting a flight tomorrow. So they're either going to drive up or rent a van, or I don't know what they were thinking about doing. So we just have to I'll keep you updated about what's going on there. Unfortunately, things happen, but they plan on being here Thursday and Friday. Wednesday might be a travel day, depending on how things shake out tomorrow.
Okay, well, as long as we get 2 days out of it, that's fine.
Yeah. Yep.
Anybody in the comments wants to get in the boat with Big JP on Wednesday, let me know, because I'm up here for the week.
Same here, I guess. If anyone wants to come Wednesday, what's the weather Wednesday?
I don't know. You got to look it up, because if I look it up, I go off camera.
Oh,
I think they're fine all week, 5 to 10 all week.
All right. If anyone wants to come Wednesday, if I have the day off Wednesday and you want to come out with me, we'll do a guide trip, but it's going to be I'm practicing for a tournament trip instead of a guide trip. And you can tag along and I can show you how I practice. How's that sound? Because I just might fish that ABA on Saturday. I haven't decided. I'm not on 27 pounds like you are every day, but.
Nah, we didn't do that good today.
Yeah, but your buddies are on 27, 28 pounds every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't seen that. 6-pounders on bed still. Like, I don't get it. Maybe they are.
There was dudes flogging today down by Cape Vincent.
Maybe I need to get the flogger in the boat tomorrow. I actually put it away. I have a little box. I have a big box, I should say, it says sight fishing on it. Flogger, knee pads, all my white baits, all my chartreuse baits, all my orange painted rocks, all of that's just put away. And I was so happy to see that go up on the shelf. But rumor has it, there's still some fish on bed somewhere out there. We'll see. You don't seem too excited. Why are you not fishing the ABA? You were complaining how there was no tournaments, and why aren't you having the Smallmouth Crush Open? And you're just done, or what?
I'm done fishing ABAs.
Oh, that's your excuse. All right. Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Huh. What's the plan tomorrow?
It's impossible to practice when you guide every day.
I understand.
What are you supposed to do in the middle of your guide trip? Say, hey, guys, listen, I know you had a fabulous morning. How about we just gamble and try to find something new? And they're paying good money, so I want to make sure they're in good zones all the time. Yeah. And it's like, it's hard to look for new stuff when you're constantly guiding.
Right.
Do you feel that way?
I do, but I also feel like I have enough stuff that when I can't hit all my spots and even in one zone in a day,
Mm-hmm.
I spent most of the day at dock as you saw me head out after I talked to you. And man, I struggled on, and it's the first time I've been out there this year, but I struggled on everything I fish normally,
Yeah. Well, I went into Canada yesterday and never turned a bass.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the challenge, I guess. You're staying in the river tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
You're going to go beat up a potential spot I was going to fish on Saturday, I imagine.
Yeah.
Let me know how many pounds you can catch out of there.
We ain't staying in there all day. I'm gonna do. I feel like when you're in the river, you can get away with trying new stuff a little better than pulling up to some Randolph spot on the lake. The guy looks at your graph. There's not even a wave point.
Do they know how to read wave point? You ever have that happen?
Have I ever?
A guy looks at your graph?
Actually, I've had people say that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be like, "Oh, you don't have any track marks or any waypoints right here," and I'm like, "Yeah, we're good. I fished this in the past."
Right.
Then I'm like, "Man, now I feel bad."
Yeah. Just keep.
How do you like the new graph?
What's that?
How do you like your new graphs?
Yeah, so I guess we can talk about that real quick. So I do have my new boat, and I've been running that. I'm going to do a video on all that, but I went with well, here's what I know, JP. I think how I was so set on the Humminbird and having really good side image. I really think that Garmin, somehow the way Steve at Bass Fishing Electronics rigged the transducer or how it's set, I'm getting a really great image, better image from side scan than I ever have in the past. And I almost feel like instead of having two 12s at the steering wheel, I think I could have just had one Garmin 16 and it'd been fine. Yeah. I also know that I get interference if my 2D and stuff are on the Garmin. I'll get, after 100 feet, I'll get a lot of rings or lines on my side image for my Humminbird. So, like I have to constantly be switching back and forth depending on what I want to do.
It's nice having a spare at the console if something happens, though.
That's a good point. That makes sense.
Like I have two 12s and I never even turn one of them on. It's just a spare.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good point too. So I'm running two 1643s at the bow, and I was nervous. I have that LVS 62 and then two LVS 34s, one on a pole, one on the trolling motor, and the other one on the trolling motor. The 62 is for perspective, which I've never in my life could get that thing dialed in. And so I briefly turned it on the other day just to see, and picture looks a little clearer, but I don't know what I could see. The big boulder I was trying to look at in 10 feet of water, but I'm just not sure. I'd have to play around with the picture. But then I'm seeing posts where these guys are using it forward out on Lake Erie, and they say it's amazing. But unfortunately for my setup, JP, if I wanted it in forward, I'd have to lower it to the trolling motor because there's just not enough clearance.
Not enough room.
So I may never know if that's the best. What I could do is maybe mount it on that pole. Maybe I'll run it this year and really try to dial in perspective. And if I can't, then maybe next year we'll put on the trolling motor and try it.
What about those 16s though? Do you see a difference in the forward facing compared to the 1222 SV ultras?
It's just a bigger screen. The fish look bigger. I wish I had a video of it. I literally ran up to a waypoint, dropped the trolling motor down. I said a swear word, and they're like, "What?" I go, "Well, they're right below us, hundreds of them." And I'm like, "Get your rods out," you know. And on that, I was in like 26 feet of water. On that graph, they all look huge, but I don't think we caught anything over 3.5 on that spot. But they were all over the place, not scared. We just dropped down on them and
ready to bite.
Yeah. So we were using. Actually, we're gonna have Great Lakes Finesse on later tonight. We're using the Great Lakes Finesse drop minnow. Spicy melon. They burned through a bunch of bags of those today on me. It's weird. I try to give the guy the black color, which I have confidence in, and like because he didn't make accurate casts, he's like, "Give me that one color again." So then I try to because they'll bite a lot of different colors, right? But I kind of like to keep a nice stash of stuff I like to use, right? So I'm just like, all right, go ahead. You know, I'm just putting the bait on for them, and they're catching them, so they're happy. But yeah,
I had this cool thing happen today. I pulled up to this one boulder, and there was like 5 or 6 fish on it, and the guy made the perfect cast, and then you could see the fish. They all came up, and then I'm like, don't move it. And then you could see them swimming around the damn bait, up, down. Like I'm like, just don't move it, don't even move it. And then all of a sudden I seen this rod go dunk. I'm like, set it, he's got it, right? And he's like,
oh really?
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, it's a good one. It's a 412. So
I can't. People don't understand what. Here, I'm going to try to draw a diagram, see if I can do it. No, I can't do it. Okay. Slack line versus tight line. Is it that hard to understand?
Dude, I know. You try to tell them, and then they got to tell. But the one guy that was with me today, he was having a hard time with the slack line thing.
Yeah.
But the other guy wouldn't go like slack like we like to do, but he would make it just a little tighter. But instead of shaking the rod, he took his pointer finger and he would just go like this with the line. And he started throttling them.
Yeah.
He went like 5 for 5, and I'm like, oh man, I might have to actually try that.
I see different ways of putting movement in your baits. When we were sight fishing a couple weeks ago, I had a guy. He was loud too with it. He would do this to the rod. I'm just all day long, man, and that worked. I appreciate him not trying to move the bait, but yeah.
So I always take the rod and I say reel up. I go, all right, put that sinker in the center of the big rod locker. So they put it there. I go, all right, so that's the weight. It just hit the bottom. I go, look, right now I'm using an extremely long leader. For whatever reason, it's working for me. I go, it's going to take a long time for that bait to sink. So you don't have to do anything because the fish is already engaged. If we watch the fish swim down on the bait, now it is looking at the bait. You're just going to slack line it. You don't have to do much at all. Maybe just jiggle some slack line if we see him get uninterested. But as long as he's looking at the bait, don't touch it until the line gets tight. and a lot of guys have a lot of trouble with that.
Yeah, that's a good idea to kind of demonstrate on the deck first.
Yeah. Well, you know me. I'm Mr. Personality. I'm always trying to keep the conversation going out on the big Ranger out there.
Yeah, I can hear you 5 miles away every day. Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
Well, listen, Epic Eric is supposed to join us, but he's pier fishing. He called me. And so he hasn't arrived yet. But I do want to bring Dan on. Do you mind hanging out, JP, for a little while?
Sure. I got a few minutes anyway.
Well, what's a few minutes? Don't just ghost us either.
I'll hang out till probably 8:45. Then I'm going to bed.
All right. Fair enough.
It's been a long night.
Yes, it has. Welcome, Dan.
What's going on, guys?
Oh, just talking fishing. Have you been out?
I was out for the U.S. opener and stuff. Did some fishing, was fishing a little tougher than normal, I think, but I'm going to be going out tomorrow, filming for a new bait that we've got coming out at the Classic next year. And I'll be fishing that ABA, so I might jump in to your boat on the Wednesday and take you up on that pre-fish expedition.
I like that plan, man.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier. You said there was a pretty decent sized tournament on your side of Lake Ontario, on the Canadian side. And what was the winning weight?
Yeah, it was like 21 pounds. It was pretty low. So,
When was that?
That was Saturday. That was the opener of the Canadian side.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, and there was a tournament out of Chameau. When would it have been? Sunday? And it was 19 pounds.
How many boats?
I don't know, but my buddy was up there, and he swore he had mega bags. I got no reason not to believe him. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Maybe we're not that far off then.
I think it's fishing tough.
I should be good for 22 pounds. Someone's going to come in with a big bag. You seen fish on beds, Dan?
I did for the U.S. side, like that early season, but even those fish were kind of, pretty much done, felt like. I mean, they were on the tail end of that other spawn, and it was probably the toughest fishing I've seen for this time of the year, really ever.
Sure. Mm-hmm. I agree with that. But I don't think it has anything to do with pressure, although we're seeing a little bit more pressure, but I think there's so much room out there. I mean, I know I hit some rock piles this week that people just don't fish, and the interesting thing is we're seeing a lot of fish, and sometimes depending on the time of day, they don't want to bite. But then when I go, like my last stop of the day, it's like the same deal. We saw this all day long. You would go to your areas, there would be a bunch of fish, and all of a sudden, for that particular reason, that group of fish were maybe more active, and we were able to catch way more than I even thought possible,
Well, you had the opposite problem. I didn't see many fish, and the fish we saw, we caught, but I just wasn't seeing the numbers like normal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about beds. I think that it was like normal. The last couple of years you'd go into a pocket and there'd be 50 beds, and this year you go in and there's 4.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Opening weekend on the U.S. side, I mean, I was so excited to get after it, and I went to the first, like, just a normal spot, and there was like no beds, and I was like, well, this is kind of weird. Maybe a couple empty, mossed over beds, and I'm just like, oh, this is gonna be a long day. And I mean, we were able to put some things together, but nothing like it has been in the past, which I'm actually probably a good thing, that the opener and most of the fish have spawned. But there was that transition though, and those fish were scattered, and they were almost like they were so spread out. I remember catching a fish on a bed and the same day catching a fish in 40 feet of water. So they were everywhere. And these fish are finally starting to get deep. But then you would think, remember, JP, and that you and I were fishing and we're talking, and we're like, we should see some cruisers up shallow, fish moving shallow to feed. And that hasn't happened. But I think in the last week or so, there has been more fish now coming back up shallow as well. So that I think we're really close to like being back to normal, or what we would expect. I think it's only going to get better from this point.
Oh, I pulled into a point on my way in this afternoon, and there was 35, 40 bass just cruising around on it. Nothing spectacular size-wise, but it was just nice to finally pull up. And of course, we started on like the north side of the point, and I'm like, man, we should see like 20 black blobs just sitting up there. What is going on? Finally, I saw one, and then once we got onto the south side of the point, they were just all over the place over there. So that was kind of fun to see, but they were just 3.5 pounders though, nothing special.
Sure.
Nice. Well, I'm excited. I haven't been out. I've just been so busy with these, new product releases. So all I want is just good fishing this week, and at the ABA tournament for me, just want to go catch them.
Go have some fun, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Well, we'll see. I might sign up. I've played this game long enough to know that if I'm not on anything special, I'm not gonna. We'll see. And we gotta look at the weather. So,
yeah. Someone always knows where they are. That's the thing with tournament
that's
fishing.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's talk. Dan, you guys released some new product. We had you on what, early spring, was it?
Yeah, it was March. Yeah, we had a big product release, whole bunch of products for the Classic, and we now backed it up with another really strong set of releases for really ICAST, but we're releasing them now, so they're available for purchase now, and we're going to start trickling out information. But we're going to talk about pretty much all of those with you today. So this is kind of the first glimpse for people to see what this new stuff is.
Okay.
Which is fitting.
Well, I want you to let's start off with a product, that I guess I'll let you kind of start, and I'll ask some questions along the way. But let's pick a product that's a new release, and let's get into it.
Yeah, I mean, the first and most exciting one is the new Hover Minnow. So that's a new bait that we just released. We've been working on it for a really long time. What's unique about this bait is it's got like a cupped belly. I don't know if you can see that, but it's if I turn that around, people bad at that. You can see there's a groove there. So about 2.5 years ago, I had the idea, how do we get a bait that we could fish? Kind of like, now we're seeing the jig and minnow technique, but how do we get the bait to act erratically and also spiral? Because those are two presentations that smallmouth love. So, that was kind of the starting point. Those are the actions we wanted, and this bait was the solution. So you can fish it horizontally through the water column. You can jig it. You can fish it straight, reel it. Every time you impart any action in it, it's going to want to dart from one side to the other. But maybe, I don't know, if you want to grab that video, we can show the video. We released it today. It's on our YouTube. And I don't know if you want to show that. It's about 4 minutes, but I've already done all the explaining, and you can see all the actions. And this is a really special bait. This is the first time I've ever seen action like this, and we call it hover darting. And I think this product's really innovative.
Heck yeah.
And it catches them real good.
All right, let's see if we can find that here.
We've innovated one of the most popular techniques right now, and that's the jigging minnow. We call it the Cindy rig. This is a style of bait that's just taken over the tournament scene. And for us, we've been pushing this style of bait for years. We've been, even before forward-facing sonar, we called it the Cindy rig. We'd cast it out, reel it straight, incorporate some twitches. And then once we could see these fish on forward-facing sonar, as soon as we got that technology, it was awesome to see these fish follow the bait and eat it. But as the years have gone on and more pressure has been put on these fish from all these anglers that are on top of them, we've noticed that the bites have really started to slow down. We used to get, at least 50% of those fish to bite. Now we're lucky if we get 2 out of 10 to bite. So we were thinking, how do we go back to the glory days where we were getting all these fish to commit to the bait, hit it aggressively? And so that's when we innovated the Hover Minnow. This is a new style of bait with a cup belly. What it does is it has random darting action when you twitch it. It also spirals down. Those are two types of actions that smallmouth really love. When you twitch it, when you're reeling it in and you twitch it, it'll just start to dart in random actions. It'll spiral down, it'll glide down. And really for smallmouth, that random action that comes out of nowhere, that's what triggers these fish to bite. And this is a really exciting bait for us. No one's doing it, and we're really excited to bring this to you. There's 3 different ways that we fish this bait. The first is casting it out and just straight reeling it. We call this technique the Cindy rig. A lot of people call it the jig and minnow. We're just reeling it in straight and incorporating some twitches. The other way we love to fish this is we'll cast it out, we'll let it spiral down to the bottom, let it sit there. The bait will kind of sit on an angle right on the bottom. It always lands flat with its belly down and the tail just quivering there. And the perfect head to pair for those 2 techniques is our sneaky swim bait head. So this head here has an eye right at the nose of the head. It swims perfectly level in the water and also has a weighted keel at the bottom. What that does is it keeps the bait balanced, giving it the action it needs, and it also allows the bait to land perfectly on its belly on the bottom. Now the second technique that is extremely effective and a lot of people are catching on is that hanging a minnow head style fishing. You know, you're either fishing the bait directly below the boat or you're casting it out to a fish and letting it kind of glide over the top and then eventually settling under the boat where those fish will commit. So that's we're going to use the hanging head, and this head here has an eye that's balanced perfectly so that when you're fishing it vertically under the boat, the bait will sit perfectly horizontal. And the other thing this bait does, or this head does, is it will actually allow the bait to twitch. You can twitch it right under the boat. It'll dart to the side, return back to center, and you never know what direction this thing is going to go in when you twitch it. It's the perfect pairing for it, and smallmouth absolutely love that action. Yeah, so I've made that cast. I can see some structure ahead of me. I'm just going to let it glide down. I'm going to pop it a little bit. Lift. There he is. Fish. And that's all it is. This bait will just hover on its way down. And, you know, these fish, they've seen a lot of baits. There's a lot of pressure, super clear water. And when it's gliding down and doing its thing with that cup belly, it's just a look they've never seen before. And those darting actions, the hovering, that's really what smallmouth love. And man, this bait's a lot of fun to fish. In addition to this being a really unique and innovative design that has action like never seen before, these baits still have that classic Great Lakes finesse touch to them. So the matte finish is a huge one for us. No glare on the baits, makes it really natural. The durability is insane. You can catch a pile of fish on one bait. And also this bait is neutrally buoyant. So what that means, it's gonna sit perfectly level in the water column. That tail isn't gonna lift unnaturally, unlike other floating or sinking baits. And I'm telling you, those fish that otherwise wouldn't commit, those ones are gonna bite because they haven't seen this before. And this is a style of fishing that you definitely wanna bring into your arsenal if you're a hardcore smallmouth angler.
Damn. I got to interrupt this service announcement to just say that Dan is probably one of the best infomercial commercial guy. And I said this to you the last time, Dan, when it comes to fishing stuff, this guy knocks it out of the park every time they drop a new bait. This dude does phenomenal on camera. I don't know how many takes that took. I'm guessing it only took one because you're that good. Right, but damn, dude, once again you put out an awesome video showcasing a really good new bait.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, there's a couple takes in there, so yeah, just being real about it. But you know, I think for us it's, you know, it's exciting. We're making stuff that is really unique, and it's a lot of work and it's challenging, but yeah, it's a lot of fun and just fun doing cool stuff. So yeah, really excited about it.
Yeah.
Somebody keeps thumb down on me. I just got 2 thumbs downs for my speech.
It's not you. It's for some reason, if I go like this, like I don't know what happens. Like it looks at your camera and it'll, yeah.
I was actually thrown off. I'm like, no one likes this.
I don't know. Hey, real quick, because I do want to talk about that bait, but we got to bring our co-host in real quick. Epic Eric, we got Dan and JP up here. Say hi to everybody.
What's up, Dan? What's up, JP? Coming at you strong from the Outer Banks Pier down in the Outer Banks, man. I got my man J Rock right here coming into frame. Come on, J Rock. Come on and say hi. Hold on. There he goes. Right there, man. We've been jamming on some Spanish bluefish, and houndfish. We had a spinner shark hook up. It's been crazy, man. Coached the kid into his first Spanish today. That's right. We got some gotcha schemes that are like sharpied up. You can't find a pink and white belly gotcha on the island right now with black polka dots. But if you get yourself a white gotcha, get yourself a pink Sharpie and a black Sharpie, you can customize it. We got Bass Lab stuff happening, Travis. What's going on, Great Lakes Finesse? JP.
What's going on?
Yo, what up, Eric?
A big tackle release. Some new products from Great Lakes Finesse tonight we're talking about. So.
Awesome. Let me turn this way. There we go. Bigger picture. Now we're coming in. Now we're coming in strong. That's Les in the background, man. He's caught and hooked more big fish on OBX than anybody. He's also lost more big fish.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's a legend. That's what it was. All right. I don't want to interrupt anymore. I just want to say hi.
Okay. Yeah.
Proceed. All right.
Enjoy your vacation. When you coming back to work? Are you going to be on
next Monday?
Okay, good.
All right. I'll see you guys next Monday, man. Last little bit of light. We're going to go fishing.
Okay.
Have fun.
All right, guys. Talk to you later, man.
Later.
Peace.
Oh, there we go. I'm glad he's having fun down there. There's the thumbs down again. Why is that?
I don't know who's giving me a thumbs down, but
you can't. It's something in the StreamYard app that allows you to do emojis or whatever they're called, and based on a keyword or your hand movement. I'm serious. Anyways, the hover, what do you call it? The hover minnow. What size?
2.75. So same size as the original drop minnow.
I saw that in the comments there. Somebody was asking.
Yep.
It seems like, so you sent me some samples. I tried the 5/16 head in it. It fits perfect. I was a little nervous that would be a little too big, but it was like a perfect match. I was really impressed with it. Haven't used it yet, but I definitely like the action. I like the. It sounds like there's a bunch of different ways to fish it, which is so cool. It's very intriguing, the spiral fall, but the fact that you can kind of shake it in place and bring it through those fish. Now, when you're casting to a smallmouth, you want to keep that bait most of the time kind of above them, right? And just kind of shake it in place or as slow as possible with the action that you require to entice those fish to bite. But that would be a great, like, that's what I'm most excited about using this bait in the future with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely the deep water fish, just a whole new look. I think your reaction to it is just like everyone, right? Like, it's a new bait. It's a new style. It's not like the Juvie Craw. The Juvie Craw was a smash hit because everyone got it right away. They knew what to do with it. And that is why we release these videos as well, to explain how you fish the bait and we go through it. But yeah, I mean, there's a ton of different ways to fish it. To be honest, we're still learning. We figured out some really cool ways. One of the really cool ways that I found that it works really well, and we'll be releasing a video here probably in the next week or so, is the bait, because it's got that spiraling, so it's swimming through the water column, we're just reeling it in. But if we see a follower that we think might not bite, we'll just slack line that bait, and the bait will actually like swim down and spin and land right on its belly, but facing the fish. And we found that action that just drives them nuts when that bait's staring at them. We're able to convert almost every fish that sees that. So, two advantages of the bait is the spiraling action that gives you that opportunity. And then also, because of the way it glides and then just kind of settles on the bottom, it's always going to land on its belly, and that tail kind of sticks up and it just kind of quivers. So kind of just does that. And that tail just kind of like lifts a little bit and barely moves. And
sure.
Yeah. So you can hop this thing along the bottom like a little goby. You can swim it. You can, vertical jig it. It's a lot of new cool ways. We're really starting to unlock some really cool bites with it.
Right. No, that makes sense. And not only that, but Well, I mean, we can talk. I guess there's some other baits we need to talk about too, but there's some new colors that I'm kind of excited. I know that comes in some different colors than when you've offered some other products in the past as well, correct?
Yeah, so it comes in every color that we make the drop minnow, including 4 new colors that are kind of like bait fish inspired. So they're like a laminate. So this is like our smelt color. It's like a bit of a gold brown with a more of a white belly. This is my personal favorite, the watermelon pearl, and then like gizzard shad, which is, man, I'm really bad at this whole hand in front of a bait thing.
Perfect.
But yeah, some really cool colors in addition to this new shape and profile. So the one thing I will say about the hover minnow, if anyone's going to fish this, the first time we developed this concave belly minnow, we tried to fish it on our ball head, and the thing, as soon as we put it in the tank, it flipped upside down and sank. So the key with this bait is you need to be using either our jig head, which is our sneaky swim bait head, which has the eye at the front.
Yep.
That's more for your horizontal casting presentations, or our hanging head, which has got that balanced eye, which is more further back. That weighted keel, so you'll notice it's wider on the bottom. That weighted keel at the bottom gives it the action it needs. So that's just one disclaimer with the product, is you need the right head. I've tried the like Owner range roller. That head seems to work okay with it. So there's probably some other heads that will work, but we know this bait works flawless on ours, and all of our heads are built on Gamakatsu hooks, powder coated and baked, so they won't chip. 3D eyes, doesn't really get much better. So should be set up with our heads.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about, if you don't mind, a similar bait that we added some new colors and a new size to, which would be the drop minnow.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's you. Maybe you want to talk about it.
Yeah, I guess we can. So a larger size drop minnow for those that feel the need. It's just a slightly bigger profile. Not too extreme.
This is the bigger one.
Yep. And I really like some of the new colors that you added. The smelt color really caught my eye.
Yeah, that one's killer. That one's like absolutely killer. Jason Christie helped with that one as well. Just from an overall bait fish color, we really like it. Stetson Blaylock had his hands on these two, which is fire craw.
Yeah.
And then also this gizzard shad, which is a really cool color. So, just kind of taking input from, the guys who are, doing it every day, winning on the Elite Series. And then this was really the one I really wanted, which is the watermelon pearl. So that's just a color I have a pile of confidence in, whether I'm in clear water, stained water. So those are the new colors. Really excited to introduce those, and just continue to grow on that drop minnow, that whole profile and all those colors. I mean, it's definitely our most winning bait in the lineup since we've launched this thing. It's been probably in close to 15 top 10s, whether it's on the Elite Series and the Opens, Toyota Series, whatever it may be. It always seems to be a player, especially when guys come north. Luke Palmer got second on St. Clair with it. I mean, it's just a killer bait. So really excited about it.
What's the actual size of that? The new one?
The new one is 3.25. Okay. So yeah, so this one here is 2.75. That's the original, and that's the larger size. And I mean, what makes this bait so special? I mean, we've talked about it a lot. You always talk about it. In my opinion, it's the true neutral buoyancy. It's not a floating material. It's not a sinking material. We're starting to see a lot of brands claim that their baits are truly like neutrally buoyant. It's funny because 2 years ago they were saying their baits float, and now those same baits are now all of a sudden neutrally buoyant. So I think I would encourage all anglers if they want a truly neutrally buoyant bait, whatever they're buying, put it in your sink, your bathtub, whatever you got, and see what that bait does on a drop shot or whatever. The second thing that makes it really great is that matte finish. That we eliminate the glare on all our baits, and I just think you just get more bites. It just looks more natural, and I'm a real big believer in that matte finish. And then the durability, obviously not having to, if you're fishing 30, 40 feet of water and you set the hook, knowing that bait is still on there, and you don't have to reel back up and you can stay on those fish. I mean, that at the end of the day, it means more bites and better chance of winning.
Right.
So, yeah. Excited.
Now,
Excited
there's a lot of different ways that we fished that drop minnow in the past. Drop shotting it, just throw down a jig and swim it through the water column, underspin, a Ned rig. So guys that like to throw a drop minnow as a Ned rig, which is probably one of the first videos I ever did with Great Lakes Finesse, showcasing that because it was kind of a Ned bite, bottom bite, and that's what we used to catch a 30-pound bag with Eric at that time. That larger profile, I think, would pair great with that as well. So, I mean, you've got to really get creative and think outside the box, and not just what we're telling you, but look at different ways to fish these baits. I mean, there's dozens of probably different techniques and ways to rig it and use it effectively, but that's just one of the ways I like to fish it. And then, of course, drop shotting, it's really been my go-to drop shot bait now that it just catches them for me. So I'm with clients and need to put fish in the boat, and that's what we grab.
Yeah, I mean, full disclosure, like pretty much every tournament, that's probably our go-to confidence bait, what we're throwing at fish to start the day. And just having this larger size, I think we're gonna unlock a few more bites in the day. Just being able to show them a different size too. Maybe they don't want the big one, maybe they want the little one.
We see that all the time with other baits too. If you downsize or if you want to go bigger, I mean there's definitely a time and a place for it. Yeah. But I think you just got to go out there and experiment. Get a couple of your favorite colors and go from there. What would be your top 3 or 4 colors if you could only have 3 or 4? Which ones would you choose?
I mean, you gotta have spicy melon. That's the fish catcher in my opinion. Black and crush that in the existing lineup, and sure. If I'm looking at the new colors, definitely. If I'm going to pick 2 of those, it's probably the smelt and the watermelon pearl. Personally,
watermelon pearl.
Yeah. And I think, getting back to the larger size in this bait, there's been a lot of demand for a larger size, especially on St. Clair. It seems like guys, are fishing on bigger bait fish. They want a bigger profile. So they really believe in a larger size. And we're also starting to see this bait be a big player down south, for largemouth and spotted bass tournaments. Palmer got a top 10 on Toledo Bend. He caught a 9-pounder on the drop minnow. So there's just this bait is not just a northern bait anymore, and this new size kind of unlocks a bit more of the southern market for Great Lakes Finesse.
Sure.
Yeah. Very
good.
So, but yeah, this hover minnow though, I don't know. We're gonna see. Be interesting to see how it over time. I think it's gonna be right there with the drop minnow.
Sure. No, I agree. I can't wait to give it a try. I got them rigged up. I'm just waiting for the right client or waiting for some free time, one or the other.
Yeah, I think this, especially the way we present it and package it, I think it is more of a technical product, a technical bait. You kind of need to know what you're doing to be able to unlock the effectiveness of this bait. So, it's not surprising. It won't be surprising if it's, more of a slow. I think there's going to be an opportunity here for really good anglers to unlock this bite and have it for a while before the mainstream angler gets it. Unlike the Juvie craw, which, for us, I don't know if anyone's seen that, but that's our tube craw.
Sure.
This thing just went nuts. We can't make them fast enough. So just a different style of bait and different action and different situations.
Yeah. Very good. All right. What else you got? What else are you excited about?
Well, I'm excited about all of it. I'm running on adrenaline right now. It's just like working from the moment I get up to pretty much when I go to bed. Definitely, I think my most, I guess they're all really exciting. Where do I start? Okay, let's start with this guy. So this is our new micro finesse matte jig.
Sure.
So we designed this to pair with our snacker. I haven't really trimmed that one back all the way. I'd probably trim that one a little bit more, but I just kind of put a snacker on there. But that's a really small ball head. It's built on a Gamakatsu 604. Matte finishes, powder coated and baked, so you can bang them through the rocks. Unlike a football head, we find that a lot of times we're fishing around milfoil or just grass, or sometimes there's just like stuff on the bottom, and it just seems like the ball head comes through that a little bit better than the football head. We were just able to keep a cleaner jig. So that's a really exciting one for us. Comes in a bunch of new colors, fine cut, really natural skirts. Comes in black, brown. This one's the green pumpkin, brown. Yeah, 2 sizes, 1/8 ounce and 3/16 ounce. So yeah, this one's creating actually a lot of buzz. We're getting a lot of feedback from anglers that have now seen that. It's on our website, so people can go check that out now and see the colors. And there's a video on there. We haven't released it on YouTube yet, but it is on our website, so people can check that out, along with pretty much a video on every single one of these products. So that one's really exciting. We've caught a lot of fish with that, and we're finally excited to have a little tiny finesse jig.
Sure.
With a really good Gamakatsu hook. For us, we're just brand loyal to that brand, and we've got a lot of confidence. We've won a lot of money with those hooks. So, we like going with those. So that one's exciting. Our new football head. So this is our new stealth football head. Comes in sizes from 1/8 ounce all the way to 3/8 ounce for deeper. So really that's the predecessor of so this is the stealth ball head. Yeah. This is the new football head. So you can pair it with, with our little snack craw. This one that's our 3/8 ounce. You probably remember us fishing this fall. Yep. That would be pretty much the exact setup that we smashed them on. So yeah, all those are green pumpkin, black, brown, pearl white, really just kind of your staple colors. And they're built exactly the same as the ball head, just football head. So it gives you that option to have that football head, especially like if you're deeper around rocks and you want to pull through easier. So yeah, that one's really exciting. I love those. I guess
if I can say something about that, I'm really excited about that because I haven't really found the perfect football head with the right hook to pair with some of the baits that I use. And I can see myself almost really switching over on a lot of the jig heads that I use to that football head. Not only do I do a lot of drifting and dragging, I think that's going to work out great for that, as well as just casting. But, besides the Great Lakes Finesse line of plastics, you can really, any of your favorite plastics that you like to use are going to pair really well with that jig head. And so I'm really excited to get my hands on those and use them for those situations as well.
Yeah. Like you said, they work with pretty much all little baits out on the market. But yeah, they work great with our juicy Helgramite. This little guy here. Yeah, works great, especially like the 1/8 ounce. It just it's basically the size of this head, and just comes through the rocks, and it's a nice slow fall. Our flat cat. Yeah, all the baits it just pairs really well with. So yeah, whatever the stealth ball head was paired with before, now you've got a football head option. So got it. That's a really exciting one. So the other one, I think the one I'm most excited about are our new head colors and our sneaky underspin. Yep. Our swim bait head. So basically all our minnow head terminal, we've introduced 3 new colors. So the first one is this matte perch. So it's like a matte watermelon with like an orange belly, and it's unbelievable. I love this color. We've been just catching them like crazy on that. And then the other 2 were just, for me, just necessary in the lineup, and we just didn't have them yet. And that's just the matte green pumpkin. I don't know why that's not focusing, but yeah, it's just matte green pumpkin. And then the third one is the chartreuse shad. So it's got some chartreuse on it, white.
Nice.
Yeah.
That could come in handy, huh, JP?
Yeah, I like that. It's about time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these are, I mean, as far as I'm concerned now, with those 6 colors that we've got available, I think we've pretty much covered any situation and any bait pairing that you would need. I mean, anything else would just be novelty at this point, but who knows? We'll probably release more colors. You know, the sneaky underspin is just like, it's just a top seller. It just catches them. In my opinion, it's the best finesse underspin for smallmouth by far for light line.
Did I miss something, or does the underspin, did it always come in 3/8? I'm confused.
No, that's new as of the classic.
Okay.
Yeah, so the original 2 sizes were the 3/16, which is this little guy. That's the one I use anytime I'm fishing in 12 feet of water or less. And then we've got the I don't know if I don't have the 3/8 here, but this is the 5/16. So this is the size up from it.
Yep.
So that's for like, you know, anywhere from anything really deeper than 12 feet, as long as you don't have wind. And then the 3/8 was really if you get like wind and you're seeing these fish on live scope and you want to get down to them. That's really where I think the 3/8, or if you're in current, there's a lot of people who fish a lot of current in the rivers or whatever, and they want to be able to get down. So that's really, those are the 3 sizes, 6 colors: gold blade, silver blade. And really, when I first started getting onto these underspins many years ago, it was all about like silver blade. And I still like using silver, but man, they've been really eating the gold lately. Last couple of years, I feel like that's really become my go-to, is a gold blade. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of turned me on to that combo this spring, and I listen when you're going to say, hey, this has been working, and I definitely I tried it, and I was impressed, because you're always thinking more. For me, I understand a lot of people use gold and stuff for cloudy and maybe dark conditions where the silver is going to be more sunshine and stuff, but I found it kind of works well in any condition. I don't say, don't use silver anymore either, but it definitely does catch some good fish. And I saw that this spring. And there was a point when that was kind of the only bite going on for a few days,
Yeah, that seems to be, that sneaky underspin bite seems to be our strongest bite, especially in that pre-spawn time. I mean, we catch more fish on that. And then, I mean, the Juvie craw was a big hit for us, snack craw. So we either go with the sneaky underspin, or we're dragging baits along the bottom. The hover minnow got some play as well this spring. Got some.
Brian, in the comments, I'll put this up here. Have you ever fished the hover minnow on the sneaky underspin? What does that action look like, or does it work?
So yes, it absolutely works. We've got some pictures of that as well that we'll release here, social media. So what's really cool about that is where the benefit of the hover minnow is, it will actually glide as well. So if you kill it, it will glide, and it'll move that underspin in a different way than if you use the drop minnow. So if you're just going to like cast it out and reel it straight in, I still think the drop minnow is the better option, but it is a different look. It's a wider profile. Like the hover minnow is a fat looking bait. So, if you think about smallmouth, it might just seem like more of an appetizing, might be more protein. I don't know. Like there's just more meat there for them. So maybe a little bit more drawing power, and it does have a different action, especially when you're, putting some slack in the line or twitching it.
When is the Great Lakes Finesse Sneaky Swimmer coming out?
Sneaky Swimmer.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Who knows? We got
the small Great Lakes Finesse paddle tail swim bait. Oh yeah, when's that baby dropping, Dan?
So all I'm gonna say is we're not even close to being done. We have a lot that's going to be coming out in the next year and a half, 2 years. There's just so much more that the brand needs, and in terms of just filler stuff that we've used or we've tinkered with. I mean, we got a bait that I'm going to be filming with tomorrow that, man, it catches them. Like, it's crazy how many bites we got. And it actually took us a full season, an extra season, to figure out how to keep the fish on. So we were getting a lot of bites with this bait, but we were losing like 50%. And I was just like, that's unacceptable. Like, you know, we can't have people losing fish like this. So it took us a while to figure out how to tinker with it. And we added a little feature to it that basically we went from 50% landing ratio to north of 90. So we're going to be filming that tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question, we got a lot coming. Stay tuned.
Perfect. Now, question, the underspin we were just talking about, will that larger drop minnow work on that hook? I assume it will, right? Or no?
Yeah, it does. I find that I have to trim it down a little bit, especially I'll use it on the larger sizes. I've still found personally that the 2.75 pairs the best with it. So you can fish both. I mean, you got options. I mean,
okay.
I'm also a believer in don't fix what's working. I mean,
sure.
We absolutely smash them with the drop minnow on there, the 2.75. So yeah, we played around a little bit with it. I haven't seen any difference.
Sure, I got it. Okay, so I do have some firsthand experience with that larger drop minnow. We've been using it the last couple days, and so it does put fish in the boat. I haven't seen yet a difference between the the two as far as this guy. I had it today. I had one guy using both, same color. One was using a smaller, one was, but again, a lot of it comes back to skill level. And we really need, you hit the nail on the head when you talked about that hover minnow and kind of the learning curve. Like, if you guys really want to master some of these baits and the techniques, there's a lot to fishing, right? And obviously JP and I see that with clients every day. We try to help, guide, and correct. And I think a lot of people are missing the boat when it comes to they're all excited. Okay, I bought these baits, but they really need to learn how to work those baits. And that's what we try to do on the channel here is talk and talk it through on how we're fishing. Obviously, the videos that you put out are helping people too that can go to Great Lakes Finesse YouTube channel and watch those videos. But that's really an important thing is how to fish these baits and when to use them and why, right? So you were just talking about that jig that you came up with, and that caught my interest, talking about, this year we have a lot of moss on the bottom in some areas, a lot more than we
got.
Right?
All over the place.
Sure. And there's places where a football head just isn't effective because of all this moss, and that might help, especially if you get in areas where. So those that are not familiar with the body of water up here, the St. Lawrence River, Lake Ontario, there's a lot of clean areas, and then there's some areas that get moss, and every year is different. It seems to me the fish. What's your opinion? Do fish like moss or no?
I mean, it might be a confidence thing, but I like to avoid it when I can.
Yeah. I find that the shallow fish just don't chill in the areas where they used to, that are now covered with moss. But then we find areas that are moss covered, but it might be a key boulder, but then you might have some clean patches that are not that big, 3, 4, 5 feet. And those are the places that you need to be casting your baits to, not the dark stuff. And you have to cast angle and, making sure to let that bait out on slack line and let it fall properly instead of giving that pendulum swing back. Like, those are all key things that I really stress about. Like, I think that's one of the most important things when it comes to fishing is being able to work that bait properly and know when to use it in certain situations.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think, and that's important too, right? Like, people really need to get dialed in with their casting distances and, being able to let a bait sit. I know you guys were talking about that earlier. Having a bait that can sit on one of those spots, one of those clean areas. I mean, like you said, I've seen that myself lots. And casting at those clean spots. Especially like the drop minnow, just allowing you to sit there in that clean open space and waiting them out.
I think we're so like wired. A lot of people just seem wired to have to work a bait. When there's times, right, where you really shouldn't be working that bait too much, and you can kind of try to force yourself to just let it sit a little bit longer than you would like, and you'd be amazed. Like, I don't know, these fish are like, listen, you guys, that guy from shore today that I was telling you was keeping those smallmouth, he had like this big weight, and he had like a leader about this big, and he had a night crawler just gobbled up on a hook. And he was just throwing it out and just waiting for a bite. Like a fish will see something and be like, I'm going to go eat that. It doesn't have to be moving and swimming. And one nice thing about a lot of the baits that you make and like, that drop minnow, like the tail and stuff, like just a little bit of movement or current or anything will just get that. Or if you have to dead stick it, and especially if you can sight fish or there's a fish kind of interested, definitely give it just a little bit of movement and try to catch them off guard, right? That's another technique, and get that reaction bite. That's what it is.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yo, listen, I'm not trying to cut you off, Dan, but I'm going off. But before I go off, I want to do one shout out to Smallmouth Crush sponsor, right? Thayer's Marine, Richie Thayer down at Thayer's Marine, once again coming through for Big JP this week. Had a minor, and I mean minor, trolling motor issue, right? But it was an issue that was going to keep me from going out in rough water. Not only did they overnight me the part, but they cut it, tapped it, and when he said he overnighted it, guys, I talked to him at 7 o'clock in the morning, and it was at my buddy John's house at 10 o'clock the next morning with a handwritten note saying, get back at it, JP, get back out on the water. And I got to tell you guys, if you are in the market for a new, used, pre-owned, brand new bass boat, aluminum boat, you want to go down, you want to look at them, you get a hold of me, Big JP, and I will set the time aside to meet you down at Thayer's Marine, introduce you to Richie Thayer, probably the best, not probably, he is the best bass boat dealer in the North Country, hands down, period. The guy is selling boats. Dude, I am telling you what, everybody's crazy about the economy. Richie Thayer is selling boats like they're going out of style. I call him every single day and go, how many you got today? And he always gives me an update, right? And it's crazy, but the customer service is second to none. And you don't have to be Big JP. You don't have to be Travis Manson to get that service. If you buy a boat from Richie Thayer, just like it says when the show starts, he will keep you on the water. That's all I got to say. Peace. Later, Dan.
See you, buddy. You're saying I'm the infomercial guy.
I know. He's something else, that's for sure.
Lots of energy.
Good stuff. No, I do want to actually take a second to, I guess, give thanks to JP and John. They came over. My buddy John came over to my house, and we had. There's always issues, I got this new boat, and it was rigged great. Man, Steve with Bass Fishing Electronics, they did an amazing job with this boat. But there's always some small things, right? I don't know if I should share this just yet. Well, I got stranded out on the water on my first outing with the boat. My fault. Nobody's fault. But I was on the phone with Richie, walking through scenarios and talking to him about what I was experiencing. And, after a 2-hour tow back to the ramp and a late night, we were able to correct those problems. But it was my fault. It was just a bonehead move. And I didn't know how to use my emergency backup. Let's just call it a jumper, right? Let's just say I decided not to charge my boat, and I assumed that my batteries, when they were shipped, would have I don't know what I was thinking. They weren't all the way. Okay. I lost battery power. I have this battery pack, and those little and everyone should have them, you know, a little chart that'll jumpstart your motor, right? Well, there's like 3 buttons on it. There's a flashlight, then there's like an on button to like turn your USB, and then there's like the exclamation mark button. But when you're kind of pissed off and don't know what's going on, you might avoid to hit the explanation button or whatever it's called to give it the real juice to jump your motor. Well, after calling in help and doing all that, I finally realized, well, I got to press this button. So I pressed this button, and it started my motor up. In the meantime, I was so excited. I'm calling people. I'm just sitting there. My motor's running. I'm good to go. And I should have jumped on it and got the heck out of there and you know, got the RPMs up on the motor for a little bit. But I just sat there celebrating, calling people, and it died again. Well, that battery pack's only good for about 1 or 2 good pulls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
oh no.
Lesson learned, man.
Oh no. Well, we've all been there. Whether it's a kill switch or you're thinking your engine's toast and it's just a kill switch, or you didn't press the right button on the jumper. But yeah. It's easy to lose. It's easy to lose your cool and your concentration when you're stranded and you're thinking the worst and you're out in the big lake.
It's the best investment, though. I tell you, that thing when it works.
Yeah, for sure.
Out there with it. I'd like to do a show. So I'm actually there's a couple things I'm planning on doing a show more about like things you definitely need, especially if you're fishing big water on your boat. And another thing is Canadian versus US rules on what's required is very unique. I'm getting a lot of feedback, and it's very hard to find what the real rules are. But for instance, I don't know if you know this, Dan, if you're in Canadian waters, you need a portable bilge pump in your boat.
I didn't know that.
No.
I've got one, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I bought one of them little hand pumps. It's not going to do me any good, but you have to have, just like a little oar isn't going to do you any good.
Yeah.
Those are things that you have to have. I don't think they're writing tickets, but I know 2 guys now that have been asked directly by them when they get stopped, do you have that? And if you don't, they tell you need to get one. So
wow. Okay.
Something to think about. But I'm actually going to another cool thing. I call the local Coast Guard up here, and their office isn't too far from my house. And I think they'll do that for anyone, but they'll actually come out to your house and do an inspection on your boat and make sure you're okay right there. So I'm going to get those guys to come out here, and maybe we'll do a little filming as well. But just, I know we're off topic, but it was just something to.
No, those are good ideas.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into fishing the big water, and just, I mean, I like the regulation one too, because that's something that, especially guys out here on the Canadian side, they probably don't know about the American rules. Matt Dobson, who I fish with, he kind of got me up to speed on what the American stuff was. So I'm good to go there. He's been doing it a little bit longer than I have.
Sure. Yeah.
Yep.
Another thing, I got so sick and tired of buying flares every 2 years and forgetting when they expire and stuff. I just bought that blinking thing that's got the flag now. I mean, for years, that's all I did was just buy flares. And finally, I'm like, it's dumb,
Yeah.
Those things expire. Even though I had like a pack, I just lit them the other day when we had a bonfire just to see, and they still work 5 years later.
4th of July.
Yeah.
Right on. Forgot to pick up the fireworks.
So you guys, if you guys are interested in Great Lakes Finesse, of course, you can go to what's the website?
Lurenet.com.
Lurenet.com. You can use that code SmallmouthCrush15. And not only if you want to take advantage of some of the other products that Pradco offers, you can do that and use that code. They have a lot of amazing baits that they make, and you guys know I've been getting the walleye fishing. There's a lot of great walleye baits as well as bass fishing baits, crappie, whatever. They got it all there. So you want to talk a little bit about Pradco as far as the brand and some of the baits and or some of the different companies that they offer there?
Yeah, absolutely. So First of all, we just introduced Canadian shipping. So if people from Canada want to order, they can finally do that off LureNet, which is, I know, something we've talked about a lot, especially with Great Lakes Finesse. A lot of people that want to buy from there in Canada. Yeah, and then, you know, brands like Yum, Booyah, War Eagle. I mean, War Eagle is an awesome, sneaky company. A lot of tournament anglers don't talk about them, but they've got them in their boat, spinner baits, jigs. Rebel, really cool brand for guys who fish a lot of trout, creeks. I use some of their stuff for some of the smallmouth stuff I do. Yeah, there's a lot of really good brands. There's a really cool new product. We actually had the brand manager from Booyah up, and back in the spring, we just filmed for their new jerkbait that's coming out called the Flashpoint Minnow, or the Flashpoint jerkbait. And this thing it's killer, man. It's like JDM quality. It's got a really cool, unique blade on the head that gives it a really cool flash, and also shows up really well on forward-facing sonar. So people can look out for that. There'll probably be some information around ICAST about that release, and I saw firsthand how effective that bait is. So that's really exciting. Yeah, there's just a lot of really cool stuff. LureNet's got all of it. There's you know, our buddy Frank Scalish, he does a lot of really cool custom paint jobs for like Norman, and you know, he did the Smithwick FX series, which is some really cool northern inspired colors on the jerk baits. Frank Scalish is an absolute animal. I don't know if people don't know who he is. He's fished the Elite Series, and now he's like one of the best painters, like custom painters for baits out there. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really cool stuff going on LureNet, and yeah, there's a lot of cool product. Pradco is they've got some really cool brands, and the brands are really, I find, in the last couple of years, really stepping it up and starting to make some really cool, innovative products for not only the average, you know, recreational angler, but also, you know, for the more hardcore anglers.
Right.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I'm excited to start trying to use especially that hover minnow, man. I cannot wait to get my hands on that and get myself in a situation where I can try it. Just haven't yet. I definitely see some. That technique's probably one of the hardest. Would you agree? Especially from a guiding standpoint.
Yeah, I think it. You know, for you guiding, I mean, it's hard to pick up a bait that, I mean, the Juby Craw, for example, you can guide with that. You know what it's going to do. You know what's going to catch them. You know how to use it. The hover minnow, like I said, is something that is totally unique. It's got a whole new action. People need to really play with it, understand it. It took us 2 years of on the water tweaking and developing, and not only did we have to develop the product, we had to figure out how to fish the product. So you know, learning how to use the bait properly, getting it to do what we wanted it to do, I mean, that took time in itself. So yeah, it is a more, I feel like it's more technical, but it's also a technique that is so effective that anglers should be learning it. You know, this whole jig and minnow deal is not like mid-strolling. This isn't a technique that's going away. It's extremely effective, and it also plays into that, and hanging a minnow, demiki, you know, moping, whatever you want to call it. I mean, that's a technique as well, especially on the St. Lawrence, Lake Ontario, Great Lakes it's like one of the best. So look, we didn't make this bait because we didn't feel like it wasn't needed. Like, I felt like this was a product that could really, really help anglers catch more fish.
Yeah.
Just take some time to learn.
Absolutely. Well, I'm ready. Put me in. Put me in.
Well, I got 2 more colors in the drop worm. I know you fish that occasionally. If people are interested, that's a 4-inch bait. It's got that neutral buoyancy. It's our worm. New colors of matte black. Just, I don't know how we missed it. And then Morning Dawn, which is a really sweet color.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I thought you might like that one. I don't know if you've seen that one yet, but yeah, really exciting stuff. We've been absolutely catching fish on all this stuff, and you Yeah, it's all out there now. We can't keep it a secret for our tournaments this season, but we got some more stuff. Yeah,
I'll tell you what, I think that's one of the most underrated baits right there that you talked about. I would say I kind of gotten away from drop shotting a worm like that in the past, but when I do, we pick it up. I know we've seen that in action in the early spring last year when you guys went out with me. Same technique this year with it, worked great. And even sight fishing this year, I used that chartreuse color quite a bit, and that worked real well on the beds. But not only that, I feel like that would work good anywhere you're drop shot and even deep. Now I'm specifically talking, I'm fishing a lot of shallow cover and stuff like that. And that would work great for largemouth as well, but smallmouth love it. And I think maybe I need to investigate, at least give it more of a look when I'm fishing deep and trying that. You're smiling because it works. So I'm definitely going to be giving that a little bit better look this season as well.
Yeah, I think there was a time when worms were really popular. Obviously we both know how effective they are, and I think people have really gotten away from it. And now, anglers who are continuing to use that, they're being able to show these fish something that they're not being shown by a lot of people. So yeah, it's sneaky good.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
We'll have it ready to go.
Yeah, so that's those are all the releases for this July. They're all available on LureNet right now, and people can check them out. And I think that I'm excited. This is a really exciting launch for me. Haven't got much sleep, running on adrenaline. I'll be down at ICAST next week to talk about them some more. But yeah, I'm happy that we were able to show this stuff on your channel before really anyone else.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So you got a busy summer. Are you going to be doing any more tournaments? What's your plan the rest of the season besides this weekend?
Yeah. So doing the ABA. And then after that, I got ICAST the following week. And then the week after, we managed to get into the Thousand Island Open.
Nice.
At Kingston on the Canadian side. So that's like 75 teams, and they're giving away a bass boat there. So we're going to fish that. It's a 3-day tournament. And then August will be kind of catch up with family, head up to the cottage, do one tournament late August on one of the home bodies of water here called Rice Lake. And in between there, we'll be filming a lot for Bassmaster Classic releases and then also even for ICAST for next year. We're always kind of operating about a year ahead. So last year we were testing stuff that we're going to film with this year, and then we'll release at the Classic. So every product gets really well tested and tuned, and we just want to make sure that the stuff works and is really good quality. So we'll be doing a lot of filming this summer. Hopefully get to go fishing with you again.
Yeah, you're always welcome. I know we'll definitely have to plan something.
Yeah, I know it's never on your end. It's more my kids.
Right.
And yeah, three little toddlers is a lot. So finding time to get away, but I know that I'm always welcome with you, and I'll definitely find some time, even if we get out in the fall again. That was a blast. Yeah,
last fall was fun, man. That was a great day. It really was. And, that's cool. I know we didn't talk too much about it on this episode. We've talked about it plenty of times in the past, but all these new baits that are coming out are great, but there's a lot of standard, we really didn't talk about the snack craw much. And, there's a lot of good, all the baits that you guys have catch fish, and don't be afraid to check out some of those. If you guys haven't heard about some of the other baits, the Fat Cat,
that's the flat cat. I got one here.
Yeah, Newton. The flat cat. Yeah.
It's funny because the flat cat is a bait that it seems like the best anglers that we know love this bait the most. Like, this is their number one bait. Definitely not the flashiest bait in the lineup, but
sure,
it's kind of one of those if you know. And then obviously the snack craw. Yeah, that thing is a staple. We sell gosh, thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of those. They just catch them everywhere you go, whether you're, doesn't matter what you're fishing for, any kind of bass species, you're going to catch them. Makes an incredible jig trailer. That's kind of become the one of the primary uses for that. I mean, they all really work. The Hellgrammite is sneaky good.
Yeah,
that's a profile.
Talk to me about the Hellgrammite, because I got a bunch and I really haven't put to use yet. So what situations are you using that?
So do yourself a favor, and if you're on a drop shot bite, throw this brown pumpkin special or the black when you're out there. Just do yourself a favor, just drop shot it.
Sure.
I mean, drag it along the bottom. That's probably what people would envision as the best use of the Hellgrammite bait, dragging along the bottom through the rocks. But we found on a drop shot, it's unbelievable. It's really good. Yeah, just do it and then get back to me.
Right. Okay.
Just text me. Just do it for me. Like,
I will.
I gotta do this for Dan. We'll see what happens.
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they're all good. They're all different. They're all for different situations. I mean, really, every time we make a bait, it's not just to bring in another bait. It's just a different look we want to show them. I mean, especially like you've seen it up shallow, right? You can throw 10 baits at a fish, and all of a sudden the 11th bait is the one they want. And just being able to rotate through all of these profiles and stuff. And obviously, like some of them work better than others, and on certain days, but just figuring out which profile and what color. I mean, that's what makes it fun. That's why we keep going. If it was the same every day, we probably wouldn't do it.
Right. No, I get it. Very good.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Dan. Well, thanks for jumping on and sharing the new products. Of course, we'll probably hear more about it as ICAST comes closer next week. If you guys follow that, I haven't been to ICAST in quite a few years now, but it's a big deal for everybody in the industry. There's going to, pretty much everybody in fishing will be down there. Yeah. 2 or 3 days in Orlando every year.
Yeah, exactly. Same old. I think this will be like my 15th year in a row other than COVID. So yeah, go do that and see everyone. I think ICAST used to be like, I still think ICAST is great. Still worth our time. But I think what's so cool with social media is that you can see all this new stuff. You don't need to be down there. And really for us, it's more about just, networking with, the dealers and, the relationships in the industry, good for business to business stuff. But from an angling, just an overall fan, I mean, you can see all this cool new stuff now online.
Right.
Yeah.
I see some people are picking on me here. Too bad we didn't have a moderator so we get these questions answered. I was trying to monitor the questions. What do we got, you guys? You got any questions for Dan? Now's the time right now before we let him go. If you have any serious questions, type them in.
I saw one about scent earlier. Someone asked if they're scented. So no, they're not scented. None of our baits are scented for a couple of reasons. One is, well, really just the main one is we love all different kinds of scent. Every body of water, I find a different scent works. We like to switch it up. So having a standard scent just never made sense for us just for us personally. I mean, we're making baits for ourselves and we just never felt like we wanted a standard scent across the board. All of our baits can take scent. You can marinate them, you can scent them. They're not going to change the action. They're not going to change their form. So that answers that. There's no scent, but you can add any scent you want. I mean, at the end of the day, smallmouth are visual feeders. I would say 90% of the time we don't use scent. 90% of the time we don't use scent. And so that's just personal. I don't feel like I need it.
Sure.
But you can add it if you need that extra level of confidence or you feel like it's required.
Okay. Perfect. What else do we got? Any of your baits, I guess the question is, which of your minnows would work best on umbrella rigs, or do you recommend any and what size?
I mean, the drop minnow, I mean, play with it. I mean, I mean, full disclosure, I probably want more of a paddle tail style bait for an umbrella rig. You might want to use the drop minnow as a decoy or just something different, but I don't know. I feel like it's probably better suited for a paddle tail. I mean, I do it a little bit, but it's very rare that I'm umbrella rigging for
Sure.
smallmouth.
Yep. Yep. What else we got here? No, they're just talking amongst themselves now. All right, don't yell at me for not moderating the questions, guys. If you're not going to, all right. Some people are mad because they dropped some more money tonight on Great Lakes Finesse after they just placed an order. Well, got some good stuff in there, guys. I saw that. What else we got? Sean go, what's the deal with max scent if they are visual eaters? Well, I'll answer that, Sean. I think a lot of it has to do with the action, dead sticking, things like that. Like max scent, to me, works good like on a dead stick presentation. I do, you know, smallmouth are visual feeders, but I will tell you what, I do have confidence in scent, so I will marinate my scent at times. Now, mostly during tournaments and for that confidence reason. But I can tell you there's way more times I'm out there and don't put scent on anything and feel like I can catch them just as well. So when I fish a tournament, I really want to take like everything I can control, I'll try to control, if that makes sense. So if I could put a little scent and maybe it'll get me a bite, maybe that fish will hold on a little bit longer. I don't know, but I'm going to do it during the tournament. I don't have the time nor the storage really to scent, because a lot of times if you scent baits, you take them out of the packages, or, you know, some packages are designed to be able to keep that bait from not getting all screwed up in the boat, you know, when you're running around. And I mean, I don't have a big arsenal of scented products that sometimes when you start scenting baits and stuff, they're only good for a couple days, you know. 2 weeks later, that thing's all shriveled up and dried up or messed up. So, I do it in tournaments. I don't do it a whole lot when I'm just fun fishing or guiding. I wish I could tell you there's a big difference. I mean, if I need a couple extra bites, I'll put it on, because I think it's got to help, right? And there's a lot of great scents on the market. I worked with what's the name to produce that
Procure.
Procure.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that's the scent that I use the most. But yeah.
Hey, we use it too. I mean, full disclosure, we use it. Generally tournament situation. I mean, it's probably a confidence thing. Maybe it does get an extra bite or two. Yeah. I mean, the nice thing is you can scent them. I did see a question here. Is the plastic, like the material formula, the same as when we first started? Everything is exactly the same from when we first started. Nothing has changed in terms of the material, the quality of the components. The only thing that has changed is the size of the machines and the amount of people that are running them and how many machines we've got. So that's one of them.
Heck yeah. I got to put a disclosure. I do use that Procure. Guys bashing me. It'll be ready to go Saturday. I got my baits marinating. I definitely do.
20 pounds. You only need 20 pounds.
No, I literally took I got my spicy melons. I did it just the other day. I wear I always wear gloves, but I wear those little plastic gloves, and I squirt a big dab in there and I just rub it around, and I'm ready to go. And that's ready to go for tournaments, or if I feel like messing around and getting a good time here.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, we'll have scent on in the boat for sure. I don't know if I'll be marinating anything. I don't know. We'll see.
What's your first cast? What bait's your first cast in this tournament Saturday going to be on? Do you know yet?
That's a good question. Probably a spicy melon drop minnow.
Okay.
Probably.
Mine too.
I mean, that or it all depend on what I see tomorrow when we're filming.
Sure.
That or it could be a juvie craw. I might be dragging a juvie craw. Yeah. I'd say one of those two. Odds are it's going to be one of those two.
All right.
The sneaky underspin will definitely come out. The Helgramite will absolutely get fished. The jig will get fished. The hover minnow will get fished. Yeah, that's probably the lineup for Saturday.
Gotcha.
Yep. Yeah, it should be good. I'm excited. I haven't what's cool. I like it because it's it's not a team event. It's just pro only, right? No AM, nothing. You just go out and do your thing and
do your thing. Well, good luck if I don't see you there. Hopefully I do. If you see me there, it means I got a little confidence.
If I see you there now, I know how to be worried.
No, I might just jump in and see how bad I can do. I'm gonna fight for it. You know what I mean? If I jump in, I'm gonna fight for it. I'm gonna work my butt off. But I do enjoy that. I just like we talked earlier in the show, man. It's a different deal out there. There's a lot of things changing. We got to stay on top of the bite, and every day it's different. And we're literally Canadian waters just opened up on Saturday, right? So I got a lot of stuff to check to see where I should even think about starting in this tournament. So that's what gets me. Like I feel more confident. I think I could just wing it and go run my usual patterns. It would be cool to see if I could get the job done running the same stuff I guide in every day. Now it's just me fishing. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I love the tournament, so I wish things were setting up a little differently. I'll tell you that. You probably wish there's still a pile of fish on beds right now for you, right?
No, I actually don't like. I don't like bed fishing. I'll be real worried if I see you at the boat launch and you got knee pads on.
Right.
Then I'll be real stressed out. But no, I'm not a big fan of the bed thing. I mean, we'll do it, but it gets old, right? Oh, like shake it,
not the tournament though, man. And the tournament,
shake it. Oh, he's got it. Like,
it's the funnest way to fish a tournament, I think.
Oh man. Well, I'm short, right? It's easy for you and JP because you guys are like 9 feet tall,
33 pounds or whatever.
Yeah, I think about how hard I had to work for that.
Right?
5'6", trying to bed fish. Yeah, but no, that was. I'm not too upset that I'm really hoping it's not a betting tournament. That's not really what I want anyway. I know you do. You love that.
That's your thing. I would.
Well, I'm sure you'll find. There's got to be a handful out there somewhere, just roaming around on a bed. I'm sure there's one or two left. Just go find them.
All right. Easier said than done.
Oh man, yeah, it should be good. I'm excited.
Very good.
I find it is getting. I mean, there's more pressure out there. I mean, when I was out there in June, the amount of bass boats I saw out there was nuts from all over the country, like Kentucky and Georgia.
Well, that opening week was like, whoa,
Yeah, like,
but there was still I had a lot of free reign, even though that kind of messed me up at the launch ramps and seeing all these boats, and there's still a lot of water to fish, I think. So that's the biggest thing with up here is at least obviously maybe we don't see it, but and that's fine, right? That's what it's all about. But
there was a lot. I mean, I felt like everywhere I went there was a bass boat, and that's pretty unusual. I mean, there was multiple bass boats on some spots that normally you don't see anyone on. So
sure,
I felt like it was. It's just becoming more popular. Actually, that week we had a couple of people from Pradco head office, and I'm trying to guide them, and turns out it's like not happening. They're done with the spawn. They're kind of that spread out post spawn funk, and they've been seeing all those 30-pound plus days in the spring going, we're coming up, and they came up for that.
Well, even I think last year opening weekend there was a lot of big bags caught, and that kind of motivated people to take off, plan some vacation that first week and So, and yeah, I'll agree. People were definitely surprised at what's going on. I mean, I got a lot of messages. I mean, I got a couple messages this last couple days. People are kind of still complaining about the bite, but I think you could see a 25+ pound bag in this tournament for sure.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. You know?
I think 20. I feel like if you come in with 25, 26, you've got a shot to win.
Well, the normal, like last year when you had 25 almost all year long, like it used to be. So certain weather condition days, 23 could get the job done for you. And now it seems like if you have 25, you don't know yet, you know, because somebody will come in with that 26, 27 pound bag, which happens every day out there for people. So, I mean, you can't be safe anymore. But in the 3-day tournament, I still say if you can do 22 or you can do like 23 a day, you're going to be in the top 5, top 8.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, 23 would be 23 a day in a 3-dayers. It's hard to be consistent, right? I mean,
yeah.
I don't care who you are. You know, you see some of the best anglers that go out there and they just have one of those one bad days and just getting around, you lose a few fish, you get, you know, kind of running around a little bit. Doesn't take much to burn your day out there. So it's hard to be consistent. That's the biggest thing. 1 days are kind of anyone's game.
Right. Well, take what we can get. Well, very good. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. You guys want to check out Great Lakes Finesse, you go over to lurenet.com. Use the code SmallmouthCrush15. Save you some money on that order. Check out all their baits, and then also check out all the other baits by Pradco. We appreciate you. I'm sure we'll have you back on. Hopefully we'll fish together soon.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
Guys, until next time, we'll see you on the water. Perfect.
See you guys.